In this review, I'm going to be taking a look at doing a tabletop review as well as a installation of the newest Magpul AFG offering. This is their M-Lok flavor. AFG stands for angled foregrip. I'm also going to compare this to the previous generation AFG, the AFG2, which is not a M-Lok device, just so you can see the design changes. According to Magpul's website, this new M-Lok AFG design is a result of research and refinements done to the original AFG and AFG2. By integrating the direct attach M-Lok mounting system with minimalist construction, they were able to produce a high-strength grip that only weighs 1.2 ounces, including hardware, thus allowing for a wider range of mounting location options. The M-Lok AFG is 3/4 inch shorter than the AFG2, while maintaining a similar gripping surface area. Even though the M-Lok AFG is more compact than its predecessors, it continues to take into account natural body mechanics to provide a comfortable and stable user interface that reduces fatigue and allows for more precise weapon control. By positioning the shooter's hand high on the center line of the bore, unlike conventional vertical foregrips, the M-Lok AFG helps mitigate recoil and control. I cannot read today. Helps mitigate recoil and control the weapon to facilitate faster, more accurate follow-up shots. All hardware necessary for attachment directly to M-Lok slots on either aluminum or polymer handguards and forends is included. Okay, oh, that was a mouthful. Again, typical Magpul retail hang tag box. This particular one is also in flat dark earth and carries part number of MAG598-FDE. So inside the box, you have installation instructions and the AFG, and then of course there's another small baggie which has your bolts in it. Since I've already had this out and have played around with it, I've already got the bolts installed. I didn't want to take them off. Basically how this works is you've got a bolt and you have these little T-tabs, and you have to determine the thickness of the item that you're going to be installing this on. So in my situation here, I'm going to put this on a Magpul SL handguard. So I tighten down these bolts to take into consideration the thickness of the Magpul SL handguard. And there is some Loctite on here. So once you get these tightened down, they're not gonna come loose on you. Now what you're going to need to do this is you're going to need a 7mm hex wrench, which is not included, and you're going to need some sort of a pliers, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to probably have to hold on to this nut while you tighten the bolt down. You might be able to do this with your fingers if you've got super strong fingers, but I found it easier to use a wrench. And once you get these set, you wouldn't really need to adjust these unless you were moving, let's say I was moving this from a polymer handguard to an aluminum. Maybe the aluminum's thicker. I might have to adjust the positioning of these nuts on the screws to take into consideration the thicker handguard. Other than that, if you were just going to reposition this from one location on a polymer, you can take it off and put it back on real easy as many times as you want. So now let's take a look at, before I get into installation, let's just compare the new AFG M-Lok to the previous AFG2. This one's also in flat dark earth, just so you can kind of get an A-B comparison of these two. Now you can see that there is a substantial size difference between these two. The new AFG M-Lok does not have this finger separator location. It is thinner, shorter. Trying to get this lined up as best I can. I'm trying to look through the viewfinder to make sure you guys have a good view of this. You can see that there's some angle differences, and then we have the thickness. This one doesn't want to stand up. We have the thickness differences. Now the AFG2, this one requires a Picatinny rail, which it does not come with. So if you're installing this on a Magpul handguard, for example, you're going to have to spend extra money to get a Picatinny rail. So you've got some extra hardware involved. This finger separator right here, which some people like, other people don't, is removable, and this does include a flat section here, so you can take this out. You just have to take these bolts out, and these two pieces come apart. Well, you have to take this out too, but take all these bolts out, this will come apart, and you can replace this with a flat section. I've used the AFG2s on a lot of different rifles. These are real popular on pistols because it's not a forward vertical grip, so these are legal to use on AR-15 pistols. Very nice. So there's the comparison between the two. Now the new M-Lok is AFG is substantially smaller, and but I've noticed that even though it's been cut down in size, you more or less can get all your fingers on here, and it's giving you the same type of gripping capability. The M-Lok mounting, like we talked about here, there's two things you have to do when you go to install this. This section here is raised, and this section here is raised. So where you place this on your handguard, this has to go inside the handguard, and this has to fit inside the handguard, and then these nuts have to be aligned, and they will fit inside the handguard. So it is somewhat limited on where exactly you can place this. Like, for example, if I wanted to place this as far forward as I could, that would be the position right there it would go in, because all of these, this, and this all fit right there. But, for example, if I wanted to move it back to this position, I couldn't mount it right there, because this little tab right here isn't going to sit flush inside of the handguard. So you are limited in your mounting locations to a certain extent, although I don't think that's going to cause a problem. So anyway, when you get the tabs lined up straight like that, and you've got your location, you just insert it, and you take your 7mm wrench, and you'll just do a half turn, and these actually will kind of, there's a stop, so when you turn these, you can't turn them too far. They're going to stop, and it's installed. Now, assuming you have your bolt in the nut, taking into consideration the thickness of the handguard you're mounting this on, this is going to be nice and tight, and it's not going to wobble around. And there you go. You're good to go with this. The removal is same. Basically, turn it to the left, you'll kind of hear it unlock. And then it comes right off. And you can find a new location. Let's say I want to put it a little bit further back. Find the location. Turn it till it locks, about a half turn or so. Quarter turn maybe. And you're done. Real easy to reposition this on your handguard. It's great technology. It's on there tight. It isn't going to come off. The bolts are not going to loosen up from the nuts because of the Loctite that are on them. Very well thought out design. I haven't used this in the field or at the range or anything like that, but I have played around with this a little bit, and I feel very confident in this design. It's definitely a step forward to a more minimalistic design that's easier to reposition and move around than the older style. The older style required obviously a Picatinny rail, you know, and you can see on this older AFG2 you needed a pretty long Picatinny rail. I mean, you could get by with a shorter one, but then you have some of the section of the AFG that's not actually connected to a rail. To remove this, you would have to take this bolt all the way out and slide it off, so it does take longer. This bolt, though, I believe is also 7mm. So the bolt is 7mm, or you could use a flathead screw on this. So, or a flathead screwdriver, or you could use a shell casing, I believe. Now, the AFG M-Lok uses the straight up 7mm hex key. So if you were out doing a run and gun or something and you decided you didn't like the position and you wanted to move this, you'd have to have a hex key on you to move these. You can't, you know, there's no way, you can't use a flat-headed screwdriver or a shell casing. Even if these screws did allow a flat-bladed screwdriver, you definitely wouldn't be able to use a shell casing because this one's too far down. My opinion on this would be that I would prefer to have these hex head screws just like this one, where you can use the 7mm or a flathead screwdriver. I know a lot of people have multi-tools and things of that nature that have Phillips and flathead screwdrivers on them, more so than having a 7mm hex key. This type of flexibility should be built into these particular bolts, in my opinion. That's really the only thing I can nitpick about this at this point. The fit and finish, the colors, you can see these are both flat dark earth. They've got good color consistency. The processing of the polymer is excellent. There's no extra material. There's no sharp edges. Yeah, I can feel a little bit from where the injection molded. I can feel a little bit of a ridge from the injection molding process, but no big deal there. Typical Magpul, high quality, fit and finish, and the design is innovative and well thought out. So I'm going to wrap this up with those last comments. I'm just checking my notes, make sure I covered everything. Yep, I got everything covered. So that's the Magpul AFG M-Lok review and installation.